Yo, what's up everybody? It's Troublesome 4200 here, and today I want to go over the interlocking technique that I use and the different methods that I use to accomplish this, and also maybe a couple different methods on how you may accomplish it, and what's easier for you may not be easier for me. There's all kinds of different ways. We're going to be going over attaching the cores to the chuck. Like what would you do to attach it? Like, are you going to just attach it in the chuck, or are you going to use a bobby pin, or maybe something from like Mythical Vapors where they do the 3D printed core holder drill chuck? It's pretty nice. I used it for a little while, and then I got the 3D printed drill chuck core holder. That's a mouthful, ain't it? But it's got the metal teeth in it, and it's spring loaded, and that's really nice. But then we've got the JK Coil Solutions drill chuck core holder, man. Oh buddy, and I really love that one. That one's my favorite at the moment. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a closer look at the methods I use and the technique that I use to do it, and we're gonna do a few decors, and we're gonna try to see if we can get you guys making these interlockings that I see everyone making. They're not very hard, guys, so let's give it a shot. Alright, here we go. Alright, so the first thing we want to do is hook our core, which I'm using 26 gauge for the core, which is usually what we use for normal aliens. We're just going to go ahead and use that. I'm going to use the 26 gauge, and I got to hook it up to my swivel here. My swivel, it's on a stand, a metal bar, and it's attached. It's a 3D printed, 3D vape 3D printed swivel. You can pick one of these up. I've got attached to it a couple fishing swivels and a little keychain thing. And then at the end is a really good idea for anybody is a, it's called, what is this thing called? A lobster clasp. Here, let's see if I can get a better shot of it. A lobster clasp. Y'all know what these are. See? And that's on there, man. That ain't going nowhere. So, I really like those. So we're going to attach our core to our swivel. Bend it over and twist it out. Very simple. Now once we got it attached, now let's go on over to the drill side, and let's go over the different methods of hooking it to the drill and the different chuck core holders that I use. Alright, here we are on the drill side, and what we're going to do is we're going to attach the other end of this wire to the drill. And the different ways that you can do that and you can achieve that. Okay, so first and foremost, to attach it to just your plain drill, what you're going to want to do is put a little L in it, a little bend, 90-degree bend, bomb, just like that. See that? A little bend in that wire. Alright, you want to get it like that. Put it into the teeth of your chuck, like so, and then tighten her down. Now you want to make sure that your wire is directly in the middle of those teeth. Now some drill chucks, it's a little easier, some not so much. This one has a lot of play right in the middle. You see that? So I don't really like this method, but this method is how I did it for a long time, and I know it works. So alright, so now you have your drill. When you do these, obviously it's the same methods as the aliens. If you've not done the aliens and you're not familiar with the aliens, you'll want your drill in reverse so that it's going towards you, which is normally when I do it. This is just me, but when I do it, I feel comfortable with the drill going forward when I'm doing my aliening. So when you do your decor, you want to do it the opposite direction as how you're comfortable doing your aliens. So make sure that your drill is in the reverse selection. Okay, then. Okay, so now we got this in shot. So you just wrap your wire around this here, like so. Okay, boom, like that. Like that. Get to go and start it up real slow. Okay, you get it going. Now you want to make sure that you keep your clapton at 90 degrees the best you can, okay? Now, I'm just going to go ahead and stop there for example purposes. Now I'm going to make sure to get a shot with my macro lens so you guys can get a really good idea of how this looks when you're doing it. But I just wanted to show you guys how to do each different method. So, here we go. Let's see if we can get this one. Focused in. All right. So we're going to wrap it around again to do the interlocking. Boom, boom. Just like that. Still the drill going in the same direction. You want to start it out slow and make sure that your wire goes directly in front of the other wire but stays resting up against it. You see? And that will wedge it right into a position where it needs to be. And then you're good to go. Once it's in there, as long as you made sure your wire was loose on there, it'll catch on, and see how it's going to stretch. And it's going to push that other wire right out of the way. Just like that. And then if you mess up, it's cool. You can reverse it just a little bit. You'll see the spaces. Put it back in there. Pull it tight. Get going. There you go. There you go. Do it fast. You can do it slow. Bomb. There you go. There's your interlock right there. Just that simple, guys. Now, that away. Now with this method, where's my tweezers at? Here we go. Pull this out off the piece sticking out of the drill chuck. Cut them short like that. And then just like a regular alien, you want to put the drill chuck in the opposite direction and spin. Boom. It's loose. So then you snip it at the chuck to get that little curve out of there. Bomb. And it should slide right off. Not big, but it's there. Stretch it. Alright. So let's take a look at a couple different methods. This is no longer the method that I use, but this is the method that worked for me for a long time. Doing regular claptons and space claptons and every little different method, I used this method, and then I moved on to the bobby pin. Let's take a look at the bobby pin, shall we? Alright, now I want to go over the bobby pin and how we use that. Now I stick this in my drill chuck with the open end. Put that open end first. You want to put that end in first. And then you close it down. Now sometimes it can lay in there easy, and then sometimes it's not sitting right. But if you get it in there right, it closes down. Like that one feels a little crooked. So I'm going to open it up, make sure it's seated in there right. There it is, just like that. Okay? So just like that. So then you're going to do the same method. You're going to hook your thing, you're going to hook your wire up to the end. So I put it in just a little bit like this, bend it around, and I make a little, little shape like that. And then I have a pair of whatever these things are called, pliers, and I hold it right there and I hit the spin all the way down. Now you see that? That is perfect, okay? So that's how I hook it up with a bobby pin. Now you'll do the same thing as you did with the just the regular chuck, but you'll just stick it inside the bobby pin like that. Bam, like that. You can kind of twist it, you know, so it catches a little better. Or it can be a pain. Bam, like that. Oh, not yet. Let's put a little more. Like I said, I'd rather have too much. Alright. And then you can start. Now when I first start in this area right here in the beginning where I twisted the wire on, I go real wide spaces. Real wide spaces, so it's easy to stay in there to go with it. Oh, nah, you caught me. We're gonna make sure that the drill is going in the correct direction. Start over. Like that. Now I continue with the wide spaces, like that. And then once I get past the twist that I use to connect it, is when I turn it down to a 90, and I make sure I pull my drill tight, like that, and everything's even, and then I start my clapping. Alright, and that's all we're going to do for that. We get the clapping started in the same method when you do the interlock. Put it in the same way, like this. And this is why we did this, the wide spaces, so that it's easy to see where you need to start. Okay, so you stay in there, try to stay with it. Stay with it. And then get in the front of the first one before you start your clapping. Get in the front of it. You see it? And then turn it and stay with it. Pull it tight, stay with it. Pull it tight. And even with the second one, you want to make sure that you have a 90, because it'll still go 90 and it'll push into them spaces all the way down. Just like that. Alright, now let's take a look at another method. Alright, now you got your 3D printed jammies here. Here's one from Mythical Vapors I got sent to me. And this is one of my first ones that wasn't the bobby pin. They sent to me to see how I thought of it. Now, as you can see in there, that's all 3D printed plastic. Now there is a little ridge on the inside of there. I'm not sure if you can see it. It's yellow, it's hard to see. And then there's a little slight tooth on the top of there. Now I actually don't prefer this one, because every time I used it, obviously it would yank out. Now there's a little screw in there, so if you wanted to go as far as you really wanted to use it, now one of the things that I would do is I would take my wire like so, and I would hook it with my pliers here, my rounded needle noses, like that. Now do you see that? And then I would take it in there and I would wrap it around the screw. Get it in there and hook it into the screw here. Like that. Now see how it goes around in there? See how it's sticking out? And then that way it would hold on a little better. Tighten it down. Like that. And snip a little extra off. Just like that. And then there you go. Let's check out another one. This one was my first, and it's been through a lot with me, but I retired it after a while. After I ripped enough cores out of it, I wasn't having it. Let's check out another one. Alright, so here's another one. CC3 Pro by 3D Vape. Now this one, as you can see in there, has a spring, and it also has metal teeth, which is much better. See, they almost look like staples in there. Much better at holding your cores. Now I do another method and when I attach my cores into this too. So let's do that one. Now I take my, just like so, I take my needle noses and I bend it right in half just a little bit, just the very end, and I bend it right in half. Like that, and I pinch it down, just like that. Now see how it's, see that? How it's bent right at the end? Sorry, it's not focusing on there, but it's bent all the way in half. That way it's just a little more for the teeth to hold on to. Not that I haven't had any cores pull out of this, but because of the last experience I had with the Mythical Vapors, I wanted to make sure that this one never had that same problems. So I get it in there and I screw it down. Just like that. And this one is really nice. I really like this one, and it comes with, highly recommend this one. I really liked that guy, and I'd still use him, but I got the next one that I'm going to show you guys. It's really nice, guys. Check out 3D Vape for this one. Super nice. Super duper nice. Lost focus when the drill went so fast there. Alright guys, let's take a look at last but not least my favorite drill chuck core holder. It's got the metal thing that goes into the drill chuck. It's got a magnet. It's got a magnet of my own stuck to the magnet. Let's get that off. This is where you loosen it, and it is magnet, so it does just go up and down. And this is removable. It's a little piece of lead. It's actually free floating in there. And you got your two holes. You see they go all the way through. And this is what makes it my absolute favorite, because I'm going to show you. This is what I'm going to do the full interlocking on. I'm going to use this. And now you guys can use any of the other methods that I used, and it worked perfectly fine. But when I do it, this is what I use. And we're going to show you why. So let's get this in here. Attach it in. Just like so. Let's grab this. Push this up. Scoot the camera back so you guys can see. Enter it in. Okay, can you guys see that little line there? That is another thing that I really like. I can always know right dead center is that line right here. Right under my fingers. Love that line. That's how you know you are perfectly lined up in the middle. I push it all the way back to the back. My screwdriver, tighten it down. Once she's tight, she is not going nowhere. That will not come out. I can hang that drill from this and there will be no problems whatsoever. Okay. Now, on to why I absolutely love this chuck core holder. Alright, so let's check this out. Make sure the drill's in the right direction right away. I'm going to turn it down to slow speed so you guys can catch it. Alright, so how I do it. You stick it through one hole here, all the way through. Like that, pull it all the way through. Enough. And wrap it around the bolt here. Real good. Pull it tight out that hole. Bam. Rest it up against the chuck holder, core holder, and start your clapton. Now it is going to start that clapton flat up against this core holder, which is just awesome. You can see how it goes up, flat up against the chuck holder, core holder, and there you go. It's resting right up against the beginning of that wire, and that's where we start. Perfect clapton right off rip. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna knock out the full length so we can go over that. I'm gonna turn my drill up and I'll work on the volume so it doesn't blow your guys' eardrums out. Okay, keep a 90-degree angle when you're doing your clapton. Alright, now once you get about 10 inches or so, you're going to want to cut it, and we'll start again. Now, this is how I get it started. Now check this out. This is so cool, guys. So you get it in here, put it all the way through. This is the opposite hole from the one I started in. Okay. Now wrap it around real tight to the top bolt. I'm going to turn my drill down. And we're going to start. Now it's going to be flat up against the chuck core holder. You're going to make sure you shoot in front of the other wire. Bam, it's going to go directly in front of it. Hold it flat up against, and it's already started its interlock perfectly. Every time it's perfect. I don't even have to put any effort into it. Look at that. Can you see it? There we go. Just like that, turn your drill up, and you're on your way.
Alright, so let's make our cores. I'm gonna do a squalene, which is my version of an alien with instead of 3 pieces of 26, I put 2 pieces of 26 on the outside of a piece of 0.4 square ribbon wire. Now, so let's stretch out our square wire. We can't really stretch out square wire. I've tried, it just breaks. So you get it out and you pull it and kind of work with it. You know, like pull it out. Now I'm gonna pull out about 12 inches. We don't need that much, but see how I work it with my finger. Try to get it as straight as possible. It doesn't usually work, but I work with it. So there we go. We're gonna cut that off. There's your square wire. Like so. Okay. Now I'm going to get my 26 gauge. Nichrome 26. I'm going to cut 2 pieces. This relatively the same length, preferably the same length as what I just cut. I usually just eyeball it anyways. Make sure you cut more than what you need. That way it ain't, you know, rather have too much than not enough. Remember that. Stretch it, give it a little stretch, just enough to feel it pull. Just enough. Now it's straight. Cut it. Oop. Take another piece. Stretch it. Just enough. Cut it. Alright, now you want to find your 40 gauge or whatever you use. Some people can use, you can use 0.3 ribbon works good. These core holders from 3D Vape work good. These are getting around. You guys should check them out. 3D Vape, I really like. They're like the jacket drawstring things, except for the hole in the middle. They got the open-ended, so you can just slide it on as you need to. Now I use that for my bigger cores and I guess, you know, assistance, but I usually use 40 gauge. That's what I like to use. I use my Kanthal 40 gauge because I don't use Kanthal for really much of anything besides tying these together. So I cut about, let's say, 6 pieces. I don't know if I use that many, but sometimes I go overboard and use too many, and that's not a bad thing. So I cut about, let's say, 6 4-inch pieces. Now you're not going to need them 4-inch pieces, but when you're wrapping it around, it definitely helps to have extra wire to hold on to so that you can get a tight wrap, so you can hold your cores together so that they don't come apart. Let's do one more. Alright. Now the trick. There's a trick working with square wire as a core because it does not straighten out. So as you can see, it's curved. So I like to make it, when I'm making my cores, I like to have it curling back towards me, like so. I don't know if you can see. So the curl is curling towards me, so the wire is pointing towards me. I put frames on both sides, trying to keep the wire curled towards me. Making sure the square wire stays in the middle. And square wire, trust and believe, is much easier to work than round wire. Once you get it where it needs to go, it's just going to stay there. I wrap my 40 around probably about 6 times, and I take my needle noses and flatten it out. Just like that. And I'll go ahead and continue to wrap it around. Just like that, a bunch of times, no set amount, just enough. I do it. I overdo it, obviously, but that's okay. Better safe than sorry. Just like that. I'm gonna get my hot glue, my torch, heat that up. hot glue the end with the 40 around it. Just like so. Let that cool. A little bit of vape to help it cool a little quicker. All right, let's check it. All right, she's dry. So what I do is there's a little bit of wire sticking out here on the side, and I'll cut that off. Okay, and I'll run my fingers down just a bit. I don't want to take it, see how I've got it, just a little bit past where I tied it here. I'm going to take it down less than an inch. And I'm going to do it again. 2, 3, 4, 5. I do 5 times, and then I take these jammies here, and I really lightly pinch where I just tightened it. Bam, right around there, and I cut the excess off. Now that's going to be my slider, my first one. Now I'm not going to do how you've heard and pull one all the way down. I'm going to work my way down as I tie, and that way I know for sure everything's going to stay where it is. So I go back from the first one, and I go back about 2 or 3 inches, about 2 inches, and I do another one. 5 wraps around with 40. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pull it tight, flatten it down, cut it off. And you're going to continue that all the way down to the end. Two, 3, 4, 5. Obviously 5 wraps isn't a set amount. You can do it however many. Sometimes I do it 4 times. It does help to flip it around like this when you get down to the other end, so you're not wrapping around with your whole arm trying to get that wrapped around there. Now you just work your way down and tie as you go, sliding your finger down as you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Flatten. Cut off the excess. Run your finger down. And here we are at the end. Now you see they're not all the same, so I'm going to go ahead and cut the ends off to make them the same. Watch your eyes. And I'm going to leave a good amount hanging off the end, probably about 1.5 inches, and that's where I'm going to tie it, because then I'm going to make my little eyelet at the end of this one so that it can hook to my swivel. And I'm going to tie this a bunch of times. I'm going to use a whole 4-inch piece on there. I'm going to wrap it a few times, 5, 6, 7, 10 times, something like that. And I'm going to use my regular needle noses. That way it gets it crimped real good. Tighten it down. Wrap it some more. Tighten it down. One more time. Finish it off. Tighten it down. Cut off the excess. We're going to hot glue this end. Let's wait for this to cool down. All right. Now I'm going to put an eyelet on the end of this. so that it can hook into my swivel. Now I use these, you see how they're rounded? And I grab it right here, about in the middle of what I left off hanging. And I twist it around, like so. And you see the loop it made? And I'm gonna pinch it, trying not to destroy my cores at the bottom, like that, still keeping the loop. See the loop? While holding it, I take a piece of 40 gauge that I have left and I tie it up. And you don't have to hold it, it's there. See how it stays? Now you want to tie around right in there so that you keep your hole so it can hook to the swivel. Alright, now I'm going to hot glue that. Better safe than sorry. Happy hot gluer. I don't care. So it doesn't come up off the swivel. Bam. We're going to wait for that to dry. Alright, now that's drying. Let's hook her up to the swivel. See how easy this is with this lobster claw on the end. Boom, just like that. Grab up your cord. Oh, I got sweaty hands, can't get a hold of it. Open her up, clip her on. Bam, and just like that, you're hooked up to your swivel. Boom. Let's get these tools out of the way. Drill. Alright. Now, let's get you right here. Just like so. Let's insert into the chuck. Nice and in there. Screw it down, line it up with that little line in the chuck, screw it down. Just tighten her up. And just like that, you're hooked into your chuck. All right, so now we're going to do the stretch. The stretch is going to be the same thing as a regular alien or Fralium. When you're stretching your decors, it's the same feeling, the same tension. When you're stretching it, it's easy going. It's an easy stretch. It's an easy stretch. As soon as it starts restricting itself, as soon as it starts pulling back, just a little bit, that's your sweet spot. So let's stretch this out. All right, I'll be right back and we'll get to lining this up. go. There you go. Look at it. Look at it. Nice. Right. Let's see. Where did we mess up at? Oh, damn, that is super clean. Super duper clean. Oh yeah. Super excited about that. See if I get the macro on there. See what I can get a look at. Let's get a look at it. Nice. All right. Let's put her on a 3mm. I'd say a 3mm would work. 3mm would definitely work. What do you know? Here we go. I'm gonna probably do 5 reps. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Snip that. Wrap another one. 1, 2. Nice. Super duper clean. All right, guys. So there's your squallions. There's the perfect method for you to make them. There's a couple different things that you can use to make your decor. You know, I really enjoy making these videos for you guys. So I hope you like them, and I really hope that this helps somebody out. Now, I have noticed that the interlocking squalene, as I call it, I don't know if that's what it's really called or what, but that's what I've been calling it, and nobody's corrected me. So, something about the interlocking makes the decor more stable, so it does make it somewhat simpler than a regular alien. And then I add that the square wire into the middle of the two 26s, and that's the same dimensions basically as a regular alien, and the core does not collapse anywhere near as easy. I've had it collapse a few times, obviously, trying to go too fast, showboating or whatever, but these methods are what work for me. So I really hope that you utilize them or use them to come up with your own methods. We all love this shit, so I hope you guys are staying safe. And I've seen them builds out there, man. You guys are killing it out there, so keep it up. So very inspiring. It's made me want to make this video and get it out to you guys, for the guys that are at home building that don't know how to do this and are really, really intrigued by it and just want to know how to do it. Well, here you go. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to install this into something. I don't know. I'm probably just going to set them to the side. Maybe somebody can get them if they want them. I don't know. Whatever. Just hit me up, guys. I hope you guys really enjoyed this. Like I said, I really enjoy doing these videos for you guys, so I hope you like, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell. Notifications are really important. Anyways, stay troubled, fam, and I love y'all. Peace. Stay off them stinkies.